What if everything you thought you knew about aging, especially the appearance of gray hair, was entirely wrong? For generations, we have been taught to view aging as a linear, progressive decline with no way back. However, recent scientific findings challenge this pessimistic view, revealing that gray hair can actually be completely reversible without hair dye. To understand this phenomenon, scientists compare human hair to the growth rings of a tree. Just as tree rings record environmental history over decades, human hair acts as a biological archive. As hair grows outward from the follicle, it preserves the chemical signatures and biological history of the body over months or even years. By examining individual strands, researchers have discovered remarkable physical evidence showing that hairs can transition from dark to white and, astonishingly, go back to being dark again. This discovery shatters the dogma that biological aging is an inflexible, one-way street. When researchers analyzed the molecular composition of these two-toned hairs, they uncovered a surprising primary signal, a mitochondrial response. Counterintuitively, white or gray hairs often contain more mitochondria rather than fewer. This occurs because hair follicles experiencing stress struggle to function, overcompensating and wasting a tremendous amount of cellular energy in the process. The catalyst for this cellular struggle often comes from stress hormones like cortisol. From a cellular perspective, cortisol acts as an evolutionary alarm bell, signaling environmental danger and preparing the organism for a fight or flight response. When people ruminate over past mistakes or worry excessively about the future, cells interpret these psychological stresses as active threats. Laboratory experiments on cells exposed to cortisol reveal that stress signals can increase energy expenditure dramatically by up to 60%. Nothing in biology is free, and maintaining this constant state of high alert burns through a finite daily energy budget. Crucially, scientists emphasize that it is not acute stress itself that breaks us down, but rather our complex psychological and physiological response to it. When an external trigger occurs, the mind constructs a narrative about its implications, triggering a cascade of physiological reactions, including elevated heart rates, muscle tension, anxiety, and chemical releases. Every single component of this chain reaction consumes precious cellular energy, ultimately leaving the individual exhausted. This brings us to a fascinating mathematical and biological model, the threshold of opportunity. Hair color operates on a threshold system. As a hair follicle accumulates damage and experiences high energy resistance over time, it eventually crosses a critical barrier and loses pigmentation. However, if a major lifestyle shift occurs, such as taking a relaxing vacation, altering energy dynamics, or entering a period of deep recovery, the body regains available energy. If the hair follicle has not crossed too far past the critical threshold, it can restore its original dark color. Of course, if a hair turned gray a decade ago, the follicle is too far away from the recovery threshold to ever regain pigment. This explains why individuals with long-term widespread gray hair do not spontaneously revert to their youth. Understanding this dynamic sheds light on the distinction between acute stress and chronic stress. Acute stress, much like physical exercise, is not intrinsically harmful. When a person exercises, muscles experience temporary energy resistance and high demand, which feels uncomfortable and causes temporary inflammation. Yet, the true benefits of exercise happen during the subsequent recovery phase. During rest, the cellular system senses past resistance, adapts, and builds more mitochondria to ensure it is better prepared for future demands. Similarly, an acute spike in stress can stimulate adaptive mechanisms that make the body more efficient in the long run. The real danger lies in chronic stress, waking up day after day with deep-seated tension that remains unresolved for weeks or months. To comprehend how the body manages this, we can look at a biological hierarchy of energy needs, which operates remarkably similarly to Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. An organism possesses a finite daily energy budget and must allocate resources strategically, much like a business. Just as a human prioritizing survival must secure food and shelter before focusing on self-actualization, the body prioritizes life-threatening stressors over non-essential maintenance. When a severe stressor arises, the organism diverts energy away from growth, maintenance, and cellular repair processes, collectively known as anti-aging mechanisms. Non-essential features, such as maintaining hair pigmentation, repairing skin wrinkles, or supporting long-term tissue maintenance, sit at the bottom of the biological priority list. When energy is stolen away by chronic stress and constant vigilance, the body sacrifices these maintenance functions to survive the immediate threat. This explains why individuals under intense sustained pressure, such as political leaders or high-stress managers, appear to age decades in just a few short years. Their biological energy is entirely consumed by high-priority stress responses rather than cellular repair. Ultimately, the secret to slowing down the aging process is not some mythical fountain of youth, but rather the intelligent allocation of energy and the mastery of our stress response. By becoming mindful of our internal reactions, interrupting negative thought loops, and recognizing when to let go of unnecessary reactivity, we can conserve cellular vitality, reduce energy resistance, and protect our biological future. Like and subscribe for more cognitive insights. Have a nice day!